Good afternoon. I want to welcome everybody to my Valor Tactical Podcast. I appreciate everybody continue to watch on my Facebook, on my TikTok, on my YouTube channel, and of course on my Instagram. So appreciate the continued following. And like I said, I was going to bring in some real stories, real heroes, and real trainers out here. Not only that, today on today's topic, we have Chief Ramon Gonzalez with the La Joya Police Department, and I'll have the gentleman and young lady here introduce themselves also here, representing La Joya. So we're going to talk about some of the books that Chief Gonzalez has written out there for law enforcement. We're going to cover that. Also, obviously, here in the Rio Grande Valley, we have some good authors. Appreciate, the Chief Gonzalez being here as well. And we're going to talk about that, but also we're going to talk about a documentary that La Joya PD was involved in. That's correct. Called The Border Crossed Us. You can watch it on Prime Video, and a great documentary. Talk about, the struggles and issues that local PD down here at the border have. Not only that, La Joya is featured there, throughout this documentary. It talks about everything that has to do with smuggling, and not only, stopping the smuggling, but also on the local side, even though local law enforcement doesn't enforce immigration laws down here, but we assist, local Border Patrol and Customs, Border Protection, and so forth. So, Chief, I want to welcome you.
Hey, thank you, Chief, for having us.
Appreciate it.
Yes,
Lieutenant, I want to welcome you.
Yes, sir.
Man, I want to welcome you, Sarge. So, quick introduction, Chief, to my viewers out there. Obviously, we got people from all over Texas. We got 4 countries watching us. We got people from many different parts of the country, law enforcement, non-law enforcement. So, showcasing, Texas law enforcement. A lot of people always thinks about the fact that what's happening down at the border. And this podcast sole purpose is to let people know across the country that South Texas has great law enforcement.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate you guys being here, representing La Joya and the city of La Joya. But a quick introduction to my viewers, Chief.
Sure. My name is Ramon Gonzalez. Born and bred in the Valley. Been over 20 years in law enforcement. Did serve our country in the United States Marine Corps. I was there with the 1-7. After that, continued education. Did my bachelor's degree at the University of Texas Pan American when it was Pan Am. After that, I still had that drive, the adrenaline drive, and I went on one ride along, and that's all it took, and that's what got me into law enforcement. After that, I continued my education and have a master's degree out of the University of Sam Houston, in leadership and management on the criminal justice side.
Great. So, welcome, Chief. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
I did not know you were a Marine.
Yes, sir.
Wow.
Yeah.
There's some things that law enforcement sometimes, we work so much together, but I didn't know you were Marine. So thank you for the service, Chief.
Thank you. Thank you.
I know you brought on the Lieutenant and Sergeant.
Correct, Lieutenant.
Lieutenant?
I'm Lieutenant Manuel Casas. I've been in law enforcement for over 25 years. Mainly what my focus in law enforcement has been is investigations.
Okay.
During my time that I worked for the Mission Police Department, I moved up to work for major crimes with homicides, home invasions, pretty much everything that was out there, we worked it. And that's what I love to do.
Cool.
Besides being just a patrolman, which I can be, investigations is what I love.
Appreciate it, Lieutenant. Thank you for being here. Sarge, go ahead. Yes, quick introduction there.
I'm Mayra Garza. I started my law enforcement career back in 2016, but I started as a victim advocate. During that time, I wanted to do more for the victims. I was there until the aftermath, and I wanted to do something different. I wanted to be there since the first call, to give them that assurance that we're here to help you. I joined law enforcement. I went to the police academy. I've been an officer for the past 5 years. Mainly the past 3 years, I've done investigations together with Lieutenant Casas, and that's it.
Well, welcome. Appreciate it, Sarge. Welcome, everybody. So, so people down in East Texas, North Texas, or up in the United States, where is La Joya, Texas located at?
Sure, we're about a mile off of the border, so we're just, I guess the biggest city they're going to recognize is McAllen, Texas, because an international airport,
Sure.
So we're approximately about 20 miles just west of there.
Yeah.
Population size, we're about 5,000 there, but we are close to the border. Like I said, within that 1 mile on there, and then we have that main corridor, Expressway 83 that goes through there.
How many officers does La Joya employ, Chief?
Right now we're currently 11. We should be at 16. You know,
But you do the work of 100 cops.
Oh yes, you know.
I mean, everybody, yeah.
You know, and when I first joined there, you know, everybody joked around. You know, you work here 2 years, it's like 15 years worth of experience because
Yeah.
you get to do from everything, from patrol, investigations, all of that.
Sure. So how long you been the police chief there, chief?
This time around, I've been 5-6 years already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, La Joya, Texas became a spotlight for a documentary called "The Border Crossed Us." How did that came about? How did that documentary come about? And
I guess if we can backtrack a little bit when we had that influx of immigration,
Sure.
you know, coming through our city, I think that did spotlight nationwide. We were on the news almost every day. We were getting, what would you guys say, about 300 plus, you know, just daily. You know, it wasn't, you know, graveyard shift was saying, hey, another 100, and there's another 100 coming over. So that happened. Along, we had to deal with the whole COVID pandemic at the same time. So this documentary crew was already doing some work in the Sullivan area during this time frame. They stopped the production there and they started reaching out to other local agencies. So sometime around 2022, I received an email, and I've received those emails plenty of times. Hey, we're a documentary crew. We wanna write out stuff like that. I kind of ignored it the first time. Then the second time, I guess they reached out to the city manager. City manager calls, hey, you might want to look into this and stuff like that. So we met the initial contact between the film crews in the Netherlands. You know, so we set up a whole. What was it? It was through Skype or a Zoom. It was through Zoom, and at 5 a.m. because that was their afternoon over there. She wanted to get together and get to know, you know, the crew, and we kind of all introduced ourselves. Yeah. At the time, you said, "Hey, you guys go and take it. I don't." I'll be in the.
You're not a media guy.
I'll be in the background. You guys go ahead and take care of it. And then she finally came in a couple months later, and she sat down with us, and she goes, "Chief, I really want you on there. I want Lieutenant. I want Myra, and you know, a couple other guys, and that's how basically we got started. And at first we were thinking it was okay, you know, like I had mentioned, I've already worked with, you know, a couple film crews and stuff. But man, once I saw that final product, you know, the editing, the hard work, I mean, it was top notch.
Yes, y'all should be very proud. I mean, I saw it. You know, when you told me about it, I went home and I saw it, and y'all should be very proud of yourselves. I mean, I think that you represented the Rio Grande Valley very well.
Thank you.
You represented local law enforcement very well, small police department very well. The unique part about La Joya is that you guys are at the outskirts of the western part of the Hidalgo County towards that. So you all, you know, have seen more immigration issues than we have on this side. You know, when I was in San Juan, we didn't see as much as you guys. And of course, there's more open terrain areas.
Oh, yes.
Right? I mean, and 1 mile from the border, you know. So, you know, I like the way that it portrayed, you know, local law enforcement. I like the way that, you know, each character that all of you three that came out there, the way that the whole community came out, and your efforts, you know, to try to help all these people coming in here, you know, illegally, right? But you still were helping them out with all the resources. I mean, you became human. You know, people sometimes, you know, criticize cops for saying that we don't have any type of, you know, empathy towards others. You clearly showed how cops should be. You know, the way that you came across all those individuals. So, I mean, I saw it. Not only that, I mean, then I saw the fact that you were also up for an award on that, right?
That is correct.
For the, through the what is it, Cannes Film Festival? What was it?
It's an international film festival. Yeah. And when I talked to the production company, it was similar to, I guess, the Oscars here in the United States, up on there. Unfortunately, we didn't make it, but we did make the cut. I mean, we were showcased up there. And then after that, we did the film festival here out of Edinburgh also. Yes. We were showcased also in there. Again, we made the cut to be debuted into there, and they showed the film there. But in reference to awards, well,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
So
What was the main thing here that you an agency, what did you grasp from that documentary? What was the main thing here, Lieutenant? What was the main thing that you guys grasped from that?
They wanted, the way I saw it and we perceive it is that they wanted to humanize
Yeah.
the badge and police officers.
Yeah.
They wanted the people from around the world, because we knew this was going to go around the
Yeah,
world,
it did go around the world.
to humanize the men and women behind the badge. Although we deal with death, because we would go out there sometimes and find people that were deceased
Yes.
because of the elements or whatever.
Yes.
And even though we were taking down smugglers and everything else, because we were actively doing that, there's a human side to that. We're humans, we're not robots.
Yes.
And you know, we have empathy and we have feelings too. And
Yeah.
I think that documentary wanted to portray that more than anything.
True.
The human side of the badge.
Yeah. What helped, what I liked about the fact in your part of it is that you also come from a religion side of it, that you also added your own perspective to it. So, I mean, I saw you many a times praying for these individuals and talking to them about the greater good of a human being. So, I mean, how did that affect you as well? I mean, because you came across, a lot of stories and incidents that they were real things, that all these people coming from all these types of parts of the country or the world coming to the United States, and they go through horrific things that happen. They get trafficked, they get sexually assaulted, they get beaten up. I mean, when you would come across them, I mean, that I'm pretty sure impacted you, all the stories that you were hearing.
I think one of the things that's always been in my heart since I was a young man is that you treat them like you want to be treated. The Bible tells us that, right?
Yeah.
And even though they had come into this country legally, that I didn't see that part.
Yeah.
I knew I still had to do my job.
True.
That's what I'm there for, right?
Yeah.
I swore to do that.
Yeah.
But I also had the humane side. And when they were sick and they would ask me to pray for them, I would pray for them.
Yes.
And if something was wrong with them, like they were having issues because they lost someone along the way, it was the same thing. I would tell them, this is what the Word of God says.
Yeah.
So I inputted that part, but that came from my heart. It wasn't something that it was for filming,
Yeah.
but naturally it came out. And that's the human side that they were looking for.
Yeah, and not only that, people that know you know that you're very involved in that. So I mean, I've known you for a long time when I was in Fire PD. So that's what I liked about the film, the documentary, that it portrayed each and every one of you guys different. Like your case, Sarge. I mean, they also talked about your family and stuff like that. How did that feel? I mean, doing that documentary, I know that you kind of shy there, in that film, but I mean,
if you know me, because they do,
yeah,
I'm a person that I do not like media. I do
Yeah.
not like talking in front of people. I do the work, but I'm on the backside,
Yeah.
and that's
Yeah.
just me. But the reason that I decided to do it was to bring that humane part of us
Yeah.
that people don't see. But there was some areas that it caught me because it was involving my children.
Yeah.
And it helped me realize how important it is to be prepared and trained out here to go back to your family, and so that people can see that, because they usually don't. I mean, they know we're husbands, wives, mothers, fathers, but that's all they see. I mean, they don't see it in a closer side.
Yeah. And the good thing also is that they portrayed female law enforcement, like sometimes always only male law enforcement. And the majority of these documentaries and shows, I mean, I think that, here in the Rio Grande Valley, we have a lot more higher percentage of female law enforcement now than we had before.
And I think they're going to continue going that route.
Yeah, I mean, we see more female law enforcement, joining the ranks of of police work. When you guys were doing the documentary, you said that the numbers were like 300, 400. I mean, and most of them were coming from where? I mean, what parts of the world were they coming from?
So we experienced from Guatemala, Honduras,
saw that.
Mexico,
So, Chinese.
Chinese also. They're basically from anywhere. There was not just one set country where they were coming from. And another thing that I liked about the documentary, that what you're seeing, that's us. We weren't acting,
You were not
there was
acting,
no script. There was just,
what I
that's
like
us,
about that, Chief, also is that it was not a different name. It was your real names, your real faces. I mean, and most documentaries that I've seen is like, hey, don't show my name, don't show my face. Well, I mean, and it's not the real you then. I mean, of course, and we understand that this line of work sometimes you're gonna get threats and stuff like that. But I mean, it's just the profession that we're in. We accept that the minute that we take the oath of office, that we accept that, this is gonna happen. You're gonna get threatened. You're gonna get, you criticized. You're gonna, all this is gonna come to us. So we just gotta know how to manage it. And when I was looking at the film, and I was like, I was pretty interested in the way that you all were, are portraying law enforcement, and I applaud you because I saw you and it's like, this is genuine. This is not something that's being made up for film. This is genuine feelings that you're feeling, conversations you had with the reporters and even the chief out there. I mean, I think this is very few times I've seen him with a helmet on, and some of the raids, and right? Yeah. And very few times I've seen him with a whole gear, and I said, is that the chief, man? Yeah. And I was like, I had to rewind it. Is that the chief or not the chief? I mean, but yeah, it's good to see that. So, how did the community accept that? Because the community knew that they were being filmed, right? So
they accepted it pretty well. We had a lot of people calling, hey, why is there like a film crew?
Yeah.
A lot of people saying, hey, what news station? They thought it was a local TV crew following us, so they wanted to know what was going on. And we explained to them, it was a process because it was not filmed months or weeks. Even though it was filmed within a week. Yeah. But we're talking about 2 years worth of film.
Yeah, 2 years. Wow.
About 2 years that.
So they wrote along for 2 years. Wow.
Off and on. Off and on. Yeah. Like I did mention, they're from the Netherlands, so they have to schedule their stuff and come down here. Yeah. And I think even at one point, all three of us had COVID, and they were here, and they had to fly back.
Track here talking to Chief Ramon Gonzalez from La Joya PD and Lieutenant Casas and Sergeant Garza with La Joya PD, talking about the border crossed us. So we're talking about, Lieutenant, about how other law enforcement officers also perceived the documentary. But I mean, obviously, there was always great partnerships there. Y'all didn't have any issues there. But,
No, we did not. They assisted us on many occasions on serving warrants, felony warrants, high-profile warrants. One of the things they did ask was that we blur their faces off because of what they do. Yeah. But that they wanted to work with us, they never said no. Yeah. They always did. Sure. That was never an issue. Yeah. But the filming sometimes pushes them away a little bit. True. Because they're doing their work, they're experts.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So all those people that want to see the border crossed us, where can they see it at? I know Prime Video.
Right now it's just currently on Amazon Prime Video. That's the best way to see it.
Yeah. So what do you want the community to learn about this documentary? I mean, especially the community of La Joya, surrounding areas, Sullivan areas. Not only that, people that are watching us in North Texas, East Texas, West Texas, all over the nation here. What do you want people to know about La Joya, Texas, and the border area?
We're a great community. We work along with every agency. This is just a different task that we've been tasked. Immigration. We still do our enforcement action on traffic. Criminal actions like that. This is an additional portion that we do. Many agencies across the nation, further up north, maybe they haven't seen it or haven't gone through it, but we live it and we see it, on a daily basis. And we've also seen the shift. Back when I first started, it was narcotics. The marijuana now like that. Now we've seen the whole influx. Now it's more into the human smuggling. Yes, and we discussed this in the film, and it makes sense if you think about it. Is that back then we seized the narcotics. Yeah. We seize your order, destroy it. That's it. Yeah. The cartels, they stopped. That was it. Sure. That was the end game. human life, grab them, send them back. That's more commodity.
Yeah.
There's more of it. It's a revolving door. It keeps on, it keeps on going.
Yeah, I know that through your investigation, you all talked about how the cartels exploit all these people that are being smuggled, and I think that a lot of people out there watching don't really understand how they exploit them. I mean, I want to talk about a little bit about how the cartels exploit all this, human smuggling coming down this border.
Yeah, well, of course, we know that 90% or more starts in Mexico.
Yeah.
Because we're right close to the Mexican border.
Yeah.
And because of that, they have their people working in the United States and preparing people, and they go after women, they go after families. They don't have any issues with getting a young man to do the dirty work.
Yeah.
And that's what's happening, and that's what's been happening. Now that we're even in 2026, they're using different tactics, but they're
True.
still exploiting the people.
Yeah.
And I think in this documentary that we did, when you look at it, you'll see that we dealt with females, with males,
Yes, saw that.
and how they were being used. And these people had children.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't just a woman off the street. No,
Yeah.
these were families that were being used by the cartel, and they were getting paid, and it was just like nothing to them until the day they got caught, and they felt the reality of the full force of the law on them, and it broke them. But I would tell them straight to their face. I said, you think that the people over there care about you? They don't care that you're gonna do maybe 10, 20 years in prison. They don't care about that.
True.
That's the reality of all of this.
And a lot of people don't understand that sometimes they think that people that are doing this type of crime are criminals with a criminal portfolio, not knowing that there's just regular citizens, like you said, people that they're exploiting out there that might be in need, or they exploit their needs, financial needs, and that's how they get involved. I mean, and I saw some of the, when they were talking about some of your cases, you were talking about, and Sergeant also talking about some of the cases that were involved, you guys were involved in. It looked like they had no criminal background, these young ladies, and families that were involved. But I mean, they sometimes the opportunity to make quick money there, have long and lasting consequences, Chief.
That's correct. I think in one of the individuals that we had apprehended, there was a husband and wife, and he had a good paying job. I mean, he worked up north, and he was getting paid good money. The only thing is that right now he was during the transition period of him finding another job, and it was easy. You mentioned that it was easy money for them.
I mean, that's why people don't understand that something that when we talk about easy money, we're talking about not hundreds of dollars, we're talking about thousands of dollars. All these people get paid thousands of dollars because they, in the average, I mean, they probably charge one human being getting crossed. What's cartels charging what? A couple $1,000s per, depending on
where they're from. Correct.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen anywhere from $50,000 to $20,000, and then depending on the here,
$50,000.
It's
$50,000.
$50,000 per person
To smuggle somebody.
Yes, sir.
Wow.
And some Chinese that that they said it took them over 3 months to get to Mexico.
Wow.
And they were caught right there in La Joya. And when
three months, the journey was 3 months to get to
Mexico,
and then here in La Joya, Texas, they get caught, and that's it. That's over for them.
yes.
$50,000.
Yes.
Wow.
It sounds insane.
It sounds
But-
insane.
But they have family that may live here in the United
Sure,
States and
sure.
in big states,
Yeah.
in cities like New York.
Yeah.
And they're the ones who let that money go to bring their family.
Yes.
Because they have businesses here.
Yeah. And I know that we talk about that local law enforcement doesn't enforce immigration, but we don't enforce immigration. You guys don't, but you come across, you cannot just look the other way. Because I saw that some of them were looking for cops. Because when they were crossing the river, they were looking for you all. Instead of hiding, they were looking for law enforcement because their journey had been so ugly and so bad, and they were in dire straits that they were actually looking for uniform officers.
And that is correct, Chief. Once a lot of times we come to them and they're asking for help.
Yeah.
So we talk about the whole enforcement side that. Well, no, sometimes we have to do the humanistic side and offer them help. What we go after are the smugglers, the one making the money. We understand that these individuals are trying to better off themselves and come to the country.
So we know that we talked about the immigration stuff, and I think that it was a great documentary. That allowed people from other parts of Texas and other parts of the country understand how important it is that the smuggling issue, immigration issue. Not that you are enforcing immigration and so forth, but it lands in your hands because people are crossing and need help. And we're talking about that they were coming towards looking for law enforcement instead of getting away from law enforcement, which is it's your typical, people coming across don't do that very common. They only do it when they're in need, Chief.
And that is correct. And I mean we have to help these individuals. We don't see race, color, or creed. Is just a human individual. We have to render assistance and help them. But we in La Jolla, we focus on the smugglers, the ones that are making the money, the ones that are going after exploiting this individuals.
Sure.
And I want to thank these two, Lieutenant Casas and Myra Garza, because they put great and awesome investigations on forth. And we kind of started this a couple of years ago, where we started seeing patterns, and we started, we took it a step further. Before Border Patrol came in and took the immigrants, these two started investigating and talking to these individuals, trying to find out how they were crossing, gathering intelligence. And they started finding out that it was the same people running the same operation. So after 2-3 times at the same individual, we wind up having pursuits with drivers, interviewing suspects, and we all started leading up to the same individuals. So we didn't stop there. We kept on going up the totem pole until we got the main individuals involved.
Which is very important because you want to stop them from smuggling people in your city, because then creates pursuits, put other people in danger. Like there was a pursuit or two that you guys were involved. I mean, they might lead to other potential crimes that they're exploiting young men and women to smuggle, and plus it affects also some of the economy there in La Jolla as well, right? And I think that's important. So, now it is a great documentary for you guys that want to see it. Prime Video. I mean, it's a great documentary. So
thank you, Chief.
I applaud you guys. I mean, I think people need to know the efforts that local law enforcement does here in the Rio Grande Valley. So, the other thing I want to talk about, Chief, is that obviously you have inspired me also to write my own book. I saw that you wrote a couple of books here. So. Machiavellian Leader, Chief. I know that you've been doing this in the background very quietly. I did not know that you have written almost 4 books already. Bridging the Badge, another excellent book that Chief wrote out there for local law enforcement. Stepping into the badge. Obviously, through all the years that you have, I known you since you were just a regular cop in La Jolla.
That's correct,
Regular cop in La Jolla. That's how long I know the Chief, right? So now you're leading an agency, which is great. And obviously, talk to me about this one right here. I mean,
ganas is is a word that I grew up with. My grandparents, échale ganas, mijo, and do that. And that is a non-law enforcement book. That's just something just for anybody can read. On that one, and it deals with how as we grow up we lose the ganas, the effort of trying to do something, but it all goes back to our experiences, from failures, and we ourselves are our own enemies, and we don't want to try no more. We say, oh, that's not for me, or I'm too old, or I can't do that no more. So that book talks a lot about that, how to get that ganas, because no matter what, there's just a little fire in us that still wants to go.
True. What inspired you to write?
It's a hobby that I've always done. I've kind of fiddled around with words. My grandfather was a composer of music, so I kind of grew up with with that.
Okay.
And just writing and documenting, and I guess anybody who comes to me and asks me, just write your thoughts down, and eventually you'll get something, something there. on there.
So I know that you wrote a book for young officers.
Young officer, that's correct. This is just something.
Stepping into the badge.
Something that I kind of wish that, as a young officer, somebody would told me and explain to me what to look for, what not to do, what the expectations of the badge.
Yeah.
I think lieutenants read that book, and he feels the same way in reference to that.
Yeah, I mean, I just went and spoke to a local academy about to graduate, and I was looking at them and I was looking at myself. I was there in 1980, 88. I mean, we all start somewhere, right? And I always say this: you got to stay humble in this profession. It's going to be a lot of successes, but more failures than successes. And I think that when I first found out that you were writing books and you had written some, and you, it addresses, the leader in an agency, or leaders in the agency, lieutenants and sergeants, or anybody that leads other people, right? So talk about the Machiavellian leader.
On that book, I go back and I remember, well, who's going to teach me to lead? Who's going to teach me how to go the steps?
We learn by trials and errors from others, right?
That's correct. And a lot of times we not only do we learn from good leaders, but there's value in learning from bad leaders also, because you get to see that's not what I want to do, right? So Machiavellian came into effect where I remember, as a young sergeant, trying to look for books, trying to look for knowledge. There's not a lot. Everything I found was, scholarly books, 1,000 pages, thick textbooks and stuff. So I try to bring some of that knowledge that I use, through my education, and try to make it as simple as I could for somebody who's trying to learn some tactics and trying to be a good leader. On there. So
your inspiration to write the Machiavellian leader, or
came from a book called the Prince, and it was Machiavellian, trying to teach a young prince on how to lead a nation on there. So he told him the do's and don'ts. So he had different principles. So some of those principles I use, and I've just changed it to where it's going to apply to law enforcement. That's correct. On there.
I saw some of your officers had some of these books out here. I mean, obviously you're impacting them because they're reading this, and obviously, we always say that knowledge is power, right? So I mean, wherever you get the knowledge from, especially coming from experienced leaders, I think I've been an avid book reader all my life. I try to read a book every couple of months. I enjoy reading, because I want to see what I can learn from others, right? And I think that the only way that we're going to get better, sergeants, lieutenants, chiefs, by learning what others have done and done the failures and successes of others, And I think that's great, Chief, that you set out to do this. I mean, I think that me and you have talked many a times, and I know that you are working on another book.
Yes, yes. I got about two in line right now. It's just finding the time on.
So let me ask you this: so where can people find your books, Chief?
Again, on Amazon. On Amazon.
Amazon, they can find it on Amazon.
That is correct.
It's awesome. I mean, I think they all showcase something about your law enforcement, and I think that I see more law enforcement writing books, right? And especially down here in the Rio Grande Valley,
which was rare. Back then you would try to find something and you couldn't find it. So one thing that I've kind of instilled in the department is that, hey, we're getting older, guys.
Yeah.
What good is it to us to hold all that knowledge and all these individuals that are below us? They're not going to learn, So these are some of the books of where that comes from, trying to teach them. Hopefully they don't have those hiccups in getting there. But as we all know, in law enforcement, it is on-the-job training.
Yeah.
And you got to make mistakes to learn.
Yeah.
And if you don't.
What are some of the good lessons that you when writing these books, I mean, what were some of the good things that came out of it? Like you say, you know what, man, I like this about this book and this about this book. I mean,
I think going back to, and you touched the topic, never forget where you come from. Be humble. Be humble. I mean, you can be, and we've run it, we've run into sergeants and lieutenants and even chiefs, and they forget what it is to be down at the bottom, and I think the guys appreciate that. If you go back to your roots and go back to how you felt, as a young officer, it changes the mindset of them.
Yeah, I mean, it's in law enforcement, the only thing you're going to have is relationships. I think we've known each other almost 20 plus years
Yes.
ago. I mean, when you were up a young patrolman up in La Joya, and look at where you're at now, Chief.
Yeah.
Doing this for quite a while, for quite some time already, Chief of Police, leading young men and women, in law enforcement. And I think that's great. I mean, I've always tell people, be prideful of who you represent. Just because you don't work in a big agency doesn't mean that you're not noticed.
And Manny here comes from a bigger agency.
For how many years were you with Mission PD, man?
I was over there for over 17 years.
Wow. It's like my brother, the man. I mean, I say ex-Mission PD and now the county and myself. People say, you know what? When are you getting back on track? I'm done. I am very satisfied the career that I've lived. The work that I'm doing. I think that I'm impacting more people now than ever, and I think that this is great, Chief, because you're gonna be impacting the next generation of cops. What do they get? How do they be better on the streets? I mean, the knowledge is right here.
Yeah.
A couple years from now, we're no longer going to be cops. Meaning that retirement. I retired a couple of years ago, and that's what inspired me. Also, is that I kept hearing from people, hey, you're going to leave, where's all this knowledge that you have? How come you don't put it somewhere where somebody else can grasp it and learn from it? So that's why I wrote my book as well. So thank you for the inspiration.
It's a good book.
Thanks for helping me out, and I think that you inspire me to finish my book.
I've also been on you. What's your next book?
I know. So Chief here, I've been working on my book for about 2 years or something, and then the last class I did, and yeah. So he gave me the last final push. Hey, you need to do it. So I did it, Chief. Appreciate it, man.
Hey, no, thank you. Anytime,
I appreciate it. So, few last words for my audience out there. Valor Tactical Podcast here from the Chief of Police from La Joya, Texas, Chief.
Hey, I just thank this man by the bottom of my heart. Chingos. My heart goes out to him for doing what he does and continue doing and his tactics and then it just goes to show the type of man he is. And also check out his book. It's a good book. It's a good book.
So, Lieutenant, last few words from my audience here. Everybody's watching out there.
What I will say is I read his book already. It's a tremendous book. I recommend it to anybody, from if you're starting or if you're a senior officer. It'll refresh your mind, and it's just something that's there and maybe you're just not paying attention to. So I was telling my chief, I said, this man wrote quite an incredible book, and it brought a lot of stuff back to me that I knew already.
Yeah.
But it seems like it goes dormant because you don't use it.
Yes, exactly.
But in that book, it came to life.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Lieutenant. Thank you. Sarge, a few words about what the white people should see, why the border crossed us.
It's a good documentary out there, but I'm not gonna focus on that. We gave you the invitation. Go ahead and see it. Main thing, I haven't gotten the book. I'm gonna get it. I'm sure it's good. I haven't known Chief at a close level, but I've heard great things about him. Follow his page. He brings real people to his podcast. Listen to it. Mainly, if you're new officers coming in, you'll get good things coming out from here.
Appreciate it, sir. So, for everybody out there watching the Valor Tactical Podcast, thank Chief Gonzalez, Lieutenant, and Sergeant Garza here for coming on this episode. Like I keep on promising you all, I'm bringing some real heroes here, real training, people that actually been on the road for long periods of time. And if you're young, old, or about to retire, or already retired, listen to my podcast. I mean, we're going to come up with some more guests here, and we're going to continue doing this, showcasing Texas law enforcement, especially border law enforcement, so everybody can see out there that South Texas has great law enforcement leaders, great law enforcement officers, and we continue to, maintain, the fort down here in South Texas, and making sure that all our counterparts all over the state, all over the country here, know where South Texas is at, and what law enforcement is doing out here. So appreciate everybody. So check out my podcast on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and of course my Facebook. See you on the next one. Thanks.